This is Prestige Worldwide, presenting Technology Report 1, Technology Transitions. We are presenting the tech transition of e-readers versus softcover books. My name is Aurora Burke. My Colby A is 7831, making me a systems analyst. My responsibilities were to outline as well as sample equations. We all had specific responsibilities throughout the report, but we stepped up and took different roles as we made progress through the project. This is Matthew Farr. His Colby A is 7815, making him also a systems analyst. His responsibilities were research, graphs, and figures. This is Peter. His Colby A was 6446, making him a facilitator with the responsibilities of writing and testing. This is Marco. His Colby A is a 5735, making him a systematizer with the responsibilities of executive summary and the presentation video. This is Blake with a Colby A of 8553, making him a strategizer with the responsibilities of writing and Excel programming. And this is David. His Colby A is 7365. He's a negotiator, and he had the responsibilities of sensitivity and innovation as well as research. We decided to compare e-readers versus paperback books just to see the benefits of each and to see which one would be more cost effective to benefit our consumer. We also wanted to see how long it would take to see a return on investment from purchasing an e-reader. And also we wanted to decide if you were going to purchase an e-reader, would it be the Kindle Paperwhite or the Nook Glow Light? Both of them are very comparable products. They have 4 gigabytes of memory, can hold weeks of a charge, and both cost $99. The only variable that we were unsure of was the cost of the books for each different product. We described our audience as a person who already owns a car, has the ability to drive, and owns a smartphone. We said that they needed to own a car just because we wanted to show that they had the ability to drive to a Barnes & Noble, specifically a Barnes & Noble in Tempe Marketplace, because they live in Tempe, making it approximately a 10-mile trip. That way we could account for the gas prices. And we also said that they own a smartphone to show that they would have the ability to use the technology that comes along with an e-reader. We define this person as someone who reads novels from the New York Times bestseller list, and we separated our audience into 2 separate categories. One consumer being one who reads 52 books per year, while the other only reads 2 books per year. For our method, we obtained our book titles from the New York Times combined print and ebook fiction bestseller list, and from there we obtained prices from barnesandnobles.com as well as amazon.com. We also added in the additional cost of tax, which we found to be 8.1% in Tempe, and the gas to drive to the store, which we used $2 per gallon. So you can see that if we go to Google and look up New York Times bestsellers list, we can find the list online where we see the combined print and ebook fiction list. And you can see that there are 20 books for each week listed. So if we go to this other link, you can see for one of the books from last year, it is The Rogue Lawyer, and you can see that the week before is also The Rogue Lawyer. So we decided to then take the number 2 book or then the number 3 book if we had it already, the number 2 book on our list, and so on until we compile the list of 52 books for the past year. And then you can also see if we go to buy, we could go to Amazon or Barnes & Nobles, which were the 2 websites that we used for the prices. So there on Amazon you can see the Kindle price at $12.99. And then on Barnes & Noble, you can see the Nook price, also priced at $12.99, and the paperback at $16.29. And so from there, we compiled a spreadsheet which listed 52 books for the year, and we added up the prices, we tracked the prices for each of the sources, and did a few calculations to get some answers. And so you can see the highlighted books are the books that we use for the 12 book per year casual reader. They were very popular books, and so we thought that our casual reader would probably read the most popular books around. maybe recommended by a friend or something. So there were a few factors that we decided not to include in our analysis just because we thought either the price would be too small to affect it or it wasn't something that would really affect the typical consumer. And so we did not account for the electricity to charge the e-reader because it probably wouldn't cost very much. The storage for the paperback books we decided not to account for. We didn't include a bookshelf or anything like that. And we also did not account for the possibility of selling books back to the bookstore. Just briefly comparing the Kindle versus the Nook, the Kindle accounts for 70% of the ebook business, while the Nook only accounts for 20%. Amazon, the company backing Kindle, is the largest internet-based retailer in the US and was actually originally started as an online bookstore, and it also opened its first physical bookstore in November. So, that compared with the decrease in Nook's sales has caused people to believe that there's a possibility that Amazon may eventually buy out Barnes & Noble's, which would actually make Barnes & Noble's Nook a more riskier investment. This graph shows the net present value for the consumer who reads 12 books per year. You can see that the initial value for softcover is much lower just because of the initial cost of purchasing the e-reader. But you can see that the Nook and Kindle depreciate slower than the softcover do. This chart's a little bit more interesting because you can see that the total cost for all three start about the same, but it's much easier to see that the softcover does in fact depreciate faster at higher discount rates than the Kindle and Nook do. These graphs just compare the price of Nook books versus softcover books and Kindle books versus softcover books for the person who reads 12 books in 1 year. And you can see that the prices are pretty similar, as well as in the next slide you can see that for the person who reads 52 books in a year, again, the prices are similar. There are a few differences, if you can see in month 4, but for the most part, they're very, very similar in cost. For this graph, you can see the cost of reading 12 books per year over 5 years, and you can see that in the first year, it's pretty clear that the softcover is respectively lower than the cost of the Nook and Kindle. And then as time goes by, at about year 3, you can finally start seeing a return on investment with the Kindle. And then it takes until about year 5 before the softcover book starts seeing a return on investment with the Nook. And so this kind of just shows that when you're only reading 12 books a year, it does take much, much longer for the investment to come back. When you're reading 52 books a year, it's slightly different. You can see that within the first year, you're already just about getting a return on investment. Everything is very, very close in price. And then as you go into the second year, you can see that the softcover is clearly more expensive than both the Kindle and the Nook. It's hard to see the Nook line just because it's right below the Kindle line. They're actually right about the same prices, basically equal in cost. And so that was not a determinant in whether to choose the Nook or the Kindle, but from this graph it is clear that the Kindle or Nook is a better choice for a person who is going to read 52 books a year. For the consumer who is a casual reader, we're going to recommend that you continue to purchase softcover books. If you're only reading 12 books a year, it will take either 3 to 5 years before you begin to see a return on investment. So we recommend that you continue to buy the softcover books because it does take so long to see that return. Our recommendation might change in the event that the consumer either wants to save time by avoiding trips to Barnes & Noble, or if the consumer wants to easily travel with multiple books. It's probably easier to carry around a e-reader as opposed to 5 or 6 books. But besides that, we would say to continue purchasing softcover books. On the other hand, for the avid reader, we're going to recommend that you make an investment in an e-reader. You make the return on investment within the first year right in that second year, and so that makes it more plausible for a consumer to want to purchase an e-reader. We're going to recommend that you purchase the Kindle as opposed to the Nook, just because Amazon's company is doing better than Barnes and Noble's, and so the Kindle would be the safest and most economical choice. We hope that our research and analysis helps you make a decision in your tech transition.